everyone, in today's video tutorial I'm going to draw a heron with colored pencils on Ampersand pastel board. So let's see how it will work out with the pencils. I've got another one of these boards laying around which I'll probably go try in the future with pastels, but yes, for now it's going to be colored pencils. I hope you enjoy! Because the board is grey, I start off with a white colored pencil, so that the colors I apply after will show up more vibrant in places I need them to be. Also, this part of the background is mainly white because the water there is very foamy. Somehow, by judging the texture of the board, I was expecting the pencils to lay on well like they would do on Pastelmat and Meetaintes paper, or Meetaintes, I don't know how you say that. But to my surprise, I found that they did not lay on as strong, even after adding a second layer. Maybe it's because it's a hard surface? I don't really know, but I found that by using a good bit of solvent, I'm using Zest-it Citrus Free solvent by the way, it smoothens things out and saturates the colors much better on this board. You don't have to hold back with the amounts of solvent you use on this board. At some point, the applied pencils start to behave a little like paint, and you can even move it around a little, which is pretty cool, I think. As I went on to work on the heron's face, I found that getting fine details in on this board was really hard. At first sight, the texture of the board seemed fine, but it seems it is a tad too grainy and rough in the end. For colored pencils anyway. It may work easier with pastels or acrylics on this board to get the finer details I usually want to get. Judging by how well it takes solvent, it probably works really well with acrylics. Also, one piece of advice regarding the use of brushes on this board: use the cheapest one you got, or go get a €1, $1 pack at a supermarket or anywhere, as the surface of this board is very rough. It will ruin your brushes at an incredible rate. You really don't want to sacrifice your expensive brushes on a board like this. The things I do really like about this board is how well you can blend on it. If you wet the board with solvent, it dries slowly, so you have plenty of time to move colors around with a damp brush to get the perfect blurry effect. This had me really impressed. Also, you can layer almost endlessly on this board, which is great, but because it really takes a lot of effort and time to get the colors saturated on this board, even with solvent, I don't think I will use colored pencils on this board again, as it takes me twice as long to get the board saturated and to get the vibrancy I'm looking for. This was the first piece that I got really fed up with, just because it took too long. I yet have to try pastels on this board, so I'm not totally writing off this product yet. The water underneath the heron is darker, so I don't have to start blocking in everything with white at the darkest parts. These I will do while mixing blues and greens by layering them. This part of the background has a lot of these sparkles or bokeh, which were interesting to find out how well and how much I could layer the white over dark on this board. I found it can be done pretty well. Not so much with the white polychromos from Faber-Castell, but the white Prismacolor did pretty well, though I did decide to use white ink for the starkest sparkles. Most of the time I work from left to right, doing parts at a time with my colored pencil drawings. For me it's easier to focus on a small area at a time. I try to work the whole piece at once, but that way of working doesn't work for me, as it overwhelms me and I lose my interest in a piece that way much easier somehow. but there are many artists out there that would find my approach inconvenient. I suppose that's the fun thing about how everybody has their own way of working through their art. So now I got to the beefiest part of the drawing, as this part is really dark and had a lot of colors in it. This part took me the longest to saturate and made me come to a point of ditching it because I got so fed up with it. But somehow I preserved. I think on that part I had a good 20 plus layers of greens, blues, yellows and whites. Also, if you're really fond of your pencils or don't have the budget to buy replacements too soon, I do not recommend using this board either, because it grinds away at your pencils, even more so than Pastelmat does. This surface is really greedy. For this drawing, I have been using mainly the Polychromos pencils from Faber-Castell and white Prismacolor. I wouldn't dare to use my more expensive pencils on this board, like the Luminance, because my wallet would be crying afterwards. And so would I. Anyway, I will have all the colors I used for this piece down in this video's description, as well as the link to the reference photo I used for this piece, which came from the Paint My Photo website. So now that the background is finished, all that is left is to complete the rest of the heron. Pay great attention to your reference photo when you need to draw tedious details such as fur and feathers. It is important to draw them in the right direction, otherwise the end result looks flat and unrealistic. And fur and feathers are anything but flat. Usually they follow the body's muscular structure, so take your time and study your reference. So we are at the end of this video and I really hope it was helpful. So leave me a like if it was and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on any future videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching and until the next one.